creatively unique. I am wonderfully made. But most of all, I'm simply Nay.
I've been thinking about you. So this you ain't a rookie. Swear you got my heart locked down with that.
Welcome to the Simply Nay channel, where everything is great over here and all vibes are good, and you're gonna have yourself a good little time. So guys, I know it's been a minute. I said I was gonna be consistent this year, but baby, the vid took me out. It took me out. It had me out of commission. I just fully feel like I recovered because my breathing is back to halfway decent. I ain't getting winded as I used to get. But we're gonna have a little girly chit chat today. We're gonna be talking about the work that you gotta do before you get in a new situation. And the reason why this topic is so important to me is because I just had to do this. Because I realized that I was dating, but I hadn't did the work. Like, I hadn't fully self-reflected on a lot of situations and fully healed from those before I was jumping into something else. Which, granted, it wasn't like a jump into it right away. But at the same time, I'm definitely one of those people where when I get out of a relationship, I'm already gone mentally before I ever leave. So I feel like I've already healed from it. Not realizing, like, baby, you still need to take that time, self-reflect, and figure out how that situation won't happen again. So I'm coming to y'all today. We gonna talk about it. We finna get right. We finna get into this because I did the work finally. I feel comfortable going out here dating now because I feel like I can do things differently. I feel like I'm finally ready. Like, I'm really finally ready. I've done everything that I can potentially do to get back right, and I'm okay now. So I want to help y'all be okay. We finna go on this journey together. We're about to do this together. So the first step in getting out of any situation is going back to the basics. Going back to you. Loving you, enjoying you, appreciating you, accepting you. What this is your process where you're learning to love yourself again. You're learning to appreciate yourself. And I say this because not all the times, but in sometimes when you get in a relationship, you lose a little piece of yourself because you're investing it into this other person, or you're compromising a little bit of yourself because you were in this relationship. So now you're getting back to what you love. What does Nay like to do? What does Nay like about herself? How does Nay love herself? Do you want to take pictures? Do you want to go out? Take yourself out on dates. You're dating yourself at this point. Not only are you dating yourself, but you're just loving you. You're appreciating you. You're valuing you. You building that confidence back up, that security level that you had with yourself prior to that situation. Granted, all relationships are not bad. All of them are not turmoil. But after you get out of something and after that breakup, it was something that caused that breakup, you got to adjust to that and adjust to the person that situation has made you become. So you have to get back into it. You have to grow to appreciate yourself again. And so that's why I say you're relearning yourself. You're relearning this new person that you become. And because in every situation, you're going to grow at some pace. Something is going to change. So you're relearning that. And during the time you're dating yourself, taking yourself out, go live it up, go on dates, go treat yourself, self-care, self-love, self-appreciation, self-admiration. That's what we're studying, right? Once you do that, your next step, and you can do this next step during, or you can take your time and do this separately, but it's the self-healing and the self-reflecting part. Basically, what you're doing during this time is you're thinking back on situations, thinking about how you could have done them differently, thinking about how stuff played out, thinking about how you played a role, taking accountability. With that accountability, you're gaining the knowledge and acknowledging what you did wrong and moving forward in regards to how you won't do that again. Also, with that self-healing, you're taking some of those traumas that you have and you're working through that, so you're not bringing that baggage into your new situation. You're bringing all of your turmoil into this self-healing stage for you to go ahead and recover from that. Whether that's journaling, whether it's going to rage rooms, whether it's therapy, whatever you need to do to heal from your previous situations and your past traumas, so when you go into this next situation, it is a healthy situation for you. You're mentally there, you're physically there, you're emotionally there, you're spiritually there. You need to work on that. You gotta get it right. So the next time, you can try to make it be your last time. So you don't have to keep redoing this over and over again. So once you do your self-healing and you feel like you have reached a point to where you are comfortable to get back out there, you feel like you're not carrying that baggage that you have from your past, you feel like you've overcome some of your trials and tribulations and you feel comfortable with yourself, and you know, I can get back out here and I'm going to be okay, and I'm not going to have the same insecurities or the same feelings that I had in my previous situation. I can get out here and be great. That's when you jump back out there. But when you jump back out there, make sure you're ready to do step 3, which is set your boundaries. Set the things that you are not willing to accept. Set what your expectations are. Get a clear understanding of what you're looking for and what that person is looking for. So there's no gray area. Make everything as completely as transparent as possible so you can build that solid foundation in your new situation. And then once that starts to bloom and flourish, your next step is going to be to make sure with this new person that you're dealing with that you're not compromising any of your values to basically just say you have somebody, or to say that I'm in this relationship, because everything is not going to be peaches and roses. Everything is not going to be a happily ever after. And there's going to be some compromising. There's going to be some misunderstandings or some mishaps or whatever you want to call it. But don't compromise yourself. Don't devalue yourself. Don't ever feel like you have to lower what you value or how you carry yourself, or you have to dumb yourself down. Make sure this person is equally yoked with you. Make sure that this person is your better half, your friend first, and then your partner. Make sure this person is willing to understand you. So when you're getting in this situation, you don't feel like you have to shy away from a person, or you can't be completely transparent, or you can't show your emotions. You have to be this hard body. We're soft. We're women. We want to be able to express ourselves. We want to be loved. We want to be able to be vulnerable. But you can't do that with someone that's not willing to take on that vulnerability, or at least experience it with you. So jumping into the situation, you set your boundaries. You make sure that you're not devaluing yourself, or you're not taking away any of your value that you have, that you worked so hard to gain, and that self-healing and that self-love and that self-care and that dating yourself stage. And everything that you worked for to build that self-confidence and that security and that peace and serenity with yourself, when you get to this part in this relationship, you make sure you're not losing any of that. Because in this relationship, y'all are supposed to be building. Y'all are supposed to be flourishing and prospering together, building each other up, not tearing each other down. And if you get to a point to where you feel like you're going back to that person you were before you did that self-healing, that's something you need to self-evaluate and decide if this is something I'm willing to fight for, or if this is something I need to walk away from because it's making me a bad person, pretty much. It's not contributing to the person that I want to be in my future. Even with that, you also have to think about the fact that I don't want to be complacent. Is this person going to help me build this empire for my future? Are we talking about things that's going to be for the future, or are we only talking about a right now aspect? In everything in a relationship, you have to be with a person that's willing to be on the same page as you. You can be in the same book, but you need to be in the same chapter, almost on the same page, in order for it to flourish. Because if he's on chapter 1 and you're on chapter 10, y'all are going to bump heads. Y'all are going to clash. It's going to be a lot of friction. Why? Because y'all are not thinking alike. Y'all don't value the same things. Y'all don't want the same things. So you need to make sure that you're being completely transparent about your wants and needs. Don't shut down, or don't feel like, because I really want to be with this person, I need to stop wanting what I want until they're ready to want that. Because guess what? You're holding yourself back. You're stopping your own growth. You're stopping your needs, your wants, your aspirations. Don't just settle just to say, I have a man or I have a woman. Make sure your partner is your partner because y'all get each other. You have a friendship. Y'all are understanding. Y'all work it out. Y'all are willing to talk and communicate and just get each other. That's the essential to any situation. And if you're not willing to work that out, or at least try to get on the same page in the same book, that may be something you need to let go. That may be something that you have to second guess. Because who wants to wait 10 to 15 years sitting in the girlfriend stage when you know as a woman or a man you wanted to be a wife or a husband 7 years ago? So now you're just settling because this is the person you think God has sent for you. And that may not be the case. It may just be that you're not willing to put yourself back out there. And there's nothing wrong with that. You may not be ready to put yourself back out there. But at the same time, again, don't compromise yourself and what your wants and needs are for someone else. Because in the end, you're hurting yourself. Why put yourself through something that you don't have to go through if you just decide, love you to death, greatly appreciate you for the time that we had, but this just isn't working for me anymore. And that's a big conversation that you have to have. That's a big conversation that you need to work. But during this journey, I'm going on this journey with y'all. I'm telling y'all the things that I'm learning as I'm progressing and going through this myself. I'm learning that I have to walk away from the situation. I'm learning that if you can't give me what I'm looking for, there's no point in me putting up a fight and getting in the ring with you when you're not even willing to do the work. You're not willing to communicate with me. You're not willing to make sure that we're on the same page and I understand you and you understand me. We may all have the same end goal, but we have different ways going about getting that end goal. Like, I'm a big person on communication. I understand you better if you communicate with me versus you disappearing or you ghosting me or we're in a relationship or we're dating or whatever and you disappear for a week. At this point, I'm looking at it like you can't be transparent. You don't feel vulnerable enough to communicate with me. And I'm not asking you to cry me a river, but I'm asking you to open your mouth and use your words and say, hey, I need my time. Hey, I just need to step away. I'm frustrated right now. And that's fine. But communication is key to every situation. And without that communication, it's a bunch of miscommunication. Or not necessarily miscommunications, but it's a lot of, how do I want to word this? It's a lot of problems that could have been avoided had you opened your mouth to get a resolution. And you have to ask yourself, am I willing to continue to put up with a person or your spouse that's not willing to try with me and continue on this journey and get in the same ring with me and fight it out? And fighting it out doesn't necessarily mean arguing or whatever, but it means it's an analogy for getting in the same playing field with me and working through this together, doing the work that it takes to have the successful end goal that we are praying for, our happily ever after, our fairy tale love story. If you're in the ring fighting by yourself, you're going to lose every time because at this point, you're the only one that's fighting for it. So now you have to get to a point to where after you've done this self-work and you've went through this dating thing and the relationship is flourishing and you see that your partner is becoming complacent with where y'all are, but they're not willing to go the extra mile to try to get to that end goal, that happily ever after. Do I want to continue fighting by myself, or do I want to get with someone or be with someone, love someone, cherish someone that's willing to get in the ring and fight with me? That's the question that we have to ask. That's the question that we need the answer to. So I'm going to go on this journey with you. You're going to go on this journey with me. And we're going to work through this together to get our happily ever after. Because I know we tired. Because the dating pool is garbage. And not all of them is garbage, but it's a high percentage of garbage in this dating pool. But I feel like we can do this. We can overcome this. We can do the work to get our fairy tale ending. So I appreciate y'all for listening. I appreciate y'all for just taking heed to what I'm saying. Leave your questions, any remarks, anything in the comments below. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Share my video. We're about to go on this journey together. I'm going to keep you up to date. And I look forward to a response. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. And thank you for allowing me to be vulnerable with you. Because as this journey continues, I promise I'm going to be more vulnerable. Toodaloo. Thank you for coming. And we're out, boo.